Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday afternoon. I hope that you are doing well today or whenever you are able to watch this later. Hopefully, a few of you can join me live since I told you in advance about this video, but it will be here. It's not going anywhere. You can always come back and watch it later. So, all right. Well, you guys, I was working on my notes for this video. And if you have been following me on Instagram and watching my Insta stories, a lot of this is going to be a repeat of that information because I'm going to be chatting about the same book that I've been talking about over there. But I wanted to come over for my Facebook friends who may not be on Instagram and do this information here. So y'all hop on and say hello. Tell me if you're watching now, or if you end up watching the replay, tell me you're watching the replay. Tell me where you're watching from. And I would love to know if you have been following my Insta stories. So as I've been working on the notes for this, I found myself very overwhelmed. I was like, I really should have broken this up into a series. So if I start talking and it gets longer and longer, I may just be like, pause. We'll put the rest of it in part 2, because basically what I'm doing is I'm summing up an entire book. I don't know if you can see this, but I have so much underlined in this book, and I feel like it's going to be really close to impossible to sum this up in one video. But I'm going to at least try to get through these 7 things. We'll see. The book I'm talking about is A Mind of Your Own by Dr. Kelly Brogan, who is a cognitive neuroscientist. She studied at MIT. She received her MD from Cornell. She is certified in psychiatry, psychosomatic medicine, and integrative holistic medicine. So that combination is very rare. I found after starting to read this book, not many people have that same combination of expertise and different areas of the medical field, psychiatry and holistic medicine. Hey, Michelle, thank you for hopping on. So that is the author of this book. And you guys, the reason I decided to do a video on this book is because as I was reading it, I just was overwhelmed by the truth of what she was saying and how that has played out in my own life. Tell me in the comments if you have been following my story long enough to know that I struggled with depression for several years. I was on antidepressants for almost 8 years. I've since come off of them and off all of my meds. I've been able to lose weight and get healthy in so many areas of my life. And the things that she said in this book have been exactly how it's played out for me, you guys. So many of these things, I just was like, oh my gosh, that is so true. That's exactly what happened in my own story, my own walk, my own journey. So I want to start off by saying that this topic is very personal to me, and I have so much empathy and sensitivity for those of you who may be struggling with depression or anxiety. I've been there, and I also have so much sympathy and empathy and mercy for those of you that are choosing antidepressants. I was on them for years. This book, something I'm not going to get into in this video that is in this book, is the dangers and the symptoms and side effects of being on antidepressants. And that she even lists a lot of things that happen to our bodies when we're on them long term, which I was on them long term, and many of the things that she says were things that happened to me. Not to mention, some of them are harder to get off of than like highly addictive illegal drugs that are hard to get off of. The withdrawal symptoms for me were terrible for months and months. So I'm not going to really get into the actual science and side effects of antidepressants. That's not my heart in doing this video, because I know there are going to be some of you that choose to stay on your meds, and this video is not to convince you otherwise. I'm not your doctor. I'm not living in your body. I'm not telling you to go off your meds. I am going to offer you some natural help, things that we wouldn't ordinarily connect to our mental health that can help you be healthier regardless of whether you're on meds or off meds. Now, for me, I've gotten healthier and gotten rid of many of those side effects by going off my meds, but that is not the point of this video. So I want you to hear that little disclaimer. I'm not telling you to go off your meds. If you do, talk to your doctor, wean more slowly than they might tell you to do. But my heart in sharing this video is that at the time for me, I saw 3 different medical professionals, and none of them told me any of this. None of them told me, any of this. There are so many factors. So the main premise of this book is that depression is a symptom. And that has proven so true in my own life. Depression is a symptom. Well, when you think about symptoms, how do you want to fix them? We want to fix them by getting to the root cause. We have to get to the root. We have to get to what is causing it. And that for me is my frustration now looking back. I mean, I'm thankful for my journey, and I'm thankful for where the Lord has brought me, and it has allowed me to come on and share my story and to encourage others. And that may never have happened had I not taken the path that I did all those years ago. So I'm not begrudging my journey. I'm grateful, but I have to share what I know now, because I see and I'm learning things, and I'm seeing how the pieces fit together in my own story, even though my doctors never told me any of this. So I started struggling after I had my 3rd baby in 3 years. And so, of course, that should be like ding, 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 red flags. We got some hormones going crazy, probably not sleeping. I wasn't eating well. I wasn't exercising. I mean, just a mess, right? Well, here's the thing. None of my doctors said, hey, maybe we should run some tests on your hormone levels and see if you're low in progesterone or whatever. Or maybe we should try some things to help you start sleeping better. Now, I know with a newborn, you're not going to get great sleep, but sleep has always been an issue for me since I was a teenager. I can remember sleepless nights. So I was on prescription sleep meds along with the antidepressants and anti-anxiety, but no doctor ever said to me, hey, did you know that food can really impact your mental health? Especially if you are eating, fast food every day and drinking soda and so much sugar and carbs and gluten in it, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But my doctors didn't say any of that to me. So now here I am on the other side of my story, and I share because it is my heart to help other women who may be struggling to realize there are things you can be doing. Again, whether you're on meds or not, do you want to feel better? We are the gatekeepers of our homes and of our bodies. How much do you want to feel better? And this is where it gets hard. Guys, this video is not going to make me popular. Changing your lifestyle is hard work. Losing 60 pounds, changing my mindset, moving away from very unhealthy emotional bondage and baggage, it's been one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. Probably harder than going on and off the meds, which was coming off was a terrible process for me. So this is not easy stuff that I'm telling you, but I want to encourage you that baby steps matter. You don't have to jump in and, oh my goodness, I have 250 things I need to change by tomorrow. Baby steps, one thing at a time. But what is intriguing to me about this book is that there are so many things she talks about that are not mentioned. We don't hear these things talked about as things that impact your mental health. So let's jump in. Okay, and I'm gonna try. I've got so many notes, you guys. I don't know if we'll get through it all or not, but I'm going to try. If it gets too long, I'll make a part 2. We owe most of our mental illness, including their kissing cousins such as chronic worry, brain fogginess, and crankiness, to lifestyle factors and undiagnosed physiological conditions that develop in places that are far from our brain, such as the gut and the thyroid. Okay, so that's how she opens this book, by saying there are so many things that are play into our mental health that have nothing to do with our brain. So the first thing I want to talk about that hugely impacts your mental health, that often goes and the connection is not made, is gut health. You may have heard the quote from Hippocrates, all disease begins in the gut. It is all connected. All disease begins in the gut. Bad gut health actually causes so many other issues. You think gut health, you think, oh, upset stomach, or maybe you have, IBS or something like that, but there are multiple kinds of cancer, inflammation, heart disease, Crohn's, celiac, gallstones, and what doesn't get talked about? Mental health. So, what impacts our gut health more than almost anything? Does anybody want to guess? Well, there's going to be a delay, so I'm not seeing comments, but hopefully y'all are there. What impacts our gut health more than just about anything? Food, right? Bad food choices cause inflammation. Inflammation leads to gut issues. Gut issues lead to issues all throughout our body, including our mental health. She says here in page 88, plenty of studies have begun to look at how our diet may be chiefly responsible for both increased gut permeability and loss of bacterial diversity. We need that diversity, both of which bridge the gap between diet and risk for depression. What this science is revealing is that people who adhere to a protocol that's rich in healthy, anti-inflammatory fats and proteins enjoy significantly lower rates of depression. Conversely, a diet high in carbs and sugar is fanning the flames of inflammation. So gut health leads right into number 2, and that is food. So many people think that I'm crazy when I say that food impacts my mental health. But it does, hugely. So if you think about what inflammation does to your body, it makes sense that it impacts everything, right? Here are 6 things that she says impact our gut health negatively: gluten, dairy, GMOs, sugar and artificial sweeteners, antibiotics, and acid reflux drugs. Yikes, you guys. Now, she goes into all of those and why, but I'm not going to have time to read why on all of those. So, diet is huge with your mental health. Do any of you have foods that just make you just not feel so great after you eat them? For me, that is a big plate of carbs, gluten, whatever, a big plate of pancakes, a bunch of donuts, a bunch of pizza, biscuits and gravy. Now, mind you, these are all my favorite foods, or they used to be. Well, I still love them. Here's the thing. I can eat that once. Like I could be somewhere at a party and eat a bunch of pizza. Then I might afterwards feel bloated or tired, like I just could fall asleep. And so, it's not that big a deal. I'm bloated, I'm tired. The next day I'll get up and get back on my eating habits and be okay. But it's when you continue to eat that way day after day after day, for me, that spirals quickly. So that means I'm constantly tired, constantly not wanting to get out of bed. Then I become unmotivated. Then I become depressed and sad because I'm not getting anything done, or I'm not able to do what I should be doing. So food definitely impacts my mental health. She says on page 89, gluten, from the Latin word glue, is a protein found in wheat, but you can also find gluten-like proteins known as prolamins in barley, rye, and corn. These are among the most inflammatory ingredients of the modern era. So if you are struggling with any kind of inflammation, gut problem, mental issue, I would recommend to you that you go off gluten for a little while and you see what happens. So food, number 1, gut health. Number 2, food. Number 3, here's a huge one that people do not realize impacts our mental health. Toxins. Most of us don't connect this to our mental health, but if you think about the rates of nearly every kind of cancer, the rates of asthma, the rates of early onset puberty in young girls, so many of these factors are caused by endocrine disruptors, which are the toxins that are in so many of our products. While it's common knowledge that we live in a world where exposure to pollution and synthetic chemicals is an everyday reality, what's not so well understood is the impact that chemical exposures have on the female body, which can eventually manifest in cognitive and mental issues. So she goes on to list different things different toxins, ingredients in our shampoo, ingredients in our cleaners that we're spraying all over our house and then breathing in, lotions, makeup, things we're putting on our bodies, things we're putting in our bodies. Another one that we don't often think about is fluoride. You guys, do you know the dangers of fluoride? Well, fluoride interferes with multiple aspects of thyroid issues, which we're going to talk about thyroid in a minute if I get time. I feel like I'm speed talking my way through this. But fluoride interferes with multiple aspects of thyroid tissues, disrupts normal hormone physiology, and both displaces iodine and depletes selenium, which are 2 critical essential elements for thyroid function. Well, most of us probably know that thyroid impacts so many things. So recent research shows that fluoride in water not only increases the risk of thyroid illness by 30%, but it may not actually prevent cavities, which is the main reason it's added to our water in the first place. And I was doing some studies. I put up a post in my oils group about fluoride, and it says something like 97% of other countries don't even put the fluoride in their water, so the U.S. is really behind the times on this. But toxins greatly impact our mental health. And y'all, that does not have to be a hard one. You guys, if you're a Young Living member, get Thieves Cleaner and throw out every toxic cleaner that's under your sink. Replace your detergent, replace your shampoo, replace your toothpaste. My new favorite fluoride-free toothpaste is our new whitening toothpaste. The toxin category and how it impacts our mental health, that category to me is one of the easier ones to change. So you guys, if you're not on the essential oil bandwagon, you need to become a Young Living member, and that's going to help you replace all the toxins in your home, okay? So that was number 3. Number 4, the fourth thing that you may be overlooking when it comes to your mental health is sleep. Now, maybe most of you connect that your sleep is super important, but again, when I was struggling, none of my doctors said, hey, we should get you sleeping, or hey, we should have your hormones checked, or hey, what are you eating? Sleep is so important. It does all this work in our brain and in our body while we're sleeping. And so when we go day after day, week after week, month after month without sleep, that is impacting us on so many levels. So I'm not going to talk a long time about that because most of us know about sleep. But if you are not sleeping, first of all, the prescription sleep meds that I was on or Tylenol PM are doing your body damage, just like I talked about endocrine disruptors, toxins in our body. So if you need help finding a natural supplement to help you sleep, send me a message. Number 5, exercise. I told you this video was not going to be popular. So exercise has been called nature's antidepressant. How many of you have found that exercise improves your mental health? I've seen a lot of studies that show cardio, but especially weight training is so good for your mental health. Exercise is an antidote for almost everything that ails us. It improves digestion, metabolism, elimination, body tone, strength, bone density, and helps us to normalize weight. It can literally turn on our SMART genes and reverse aging and support our emotional stability and stave off depression. Okay, who needs to get moving after hearing that? And of course, there's the lowered inflammation. That is one of the most powerful ways in which exercise prevents depression. So, number 5 is exercise. But think about our world today. We are so sedentary compared to previous generations. All right, number 6, hormones. All right, friends, come on now. I think this is how mine started. So obviously I had just had 3 babies in 3 years. I'm pretty sure my hormones were out of whack, but nobody said, let's look at your hormones. Nobody said, hey, we should try some progesterone, or we should try, at least running some tests or whatever. So it makes total sense, but a lot of times doctors just don't look at this today. You have to request it. You have to be an advocate for yourself. Let's see here. In her book, she talks about 2 psychiatric pretenders, which are 2 common resolvable conditions that can lead to a psychiatric diagnosis. One of them is the thyroid, which is connected. It's all part of our endocrine system. The other is blood sugar issues. So how much of what we call mental illness is actually driven by the thyroid? Take one step further back, the immune system. Scientists have long known about the relationship between a dysfunctional thyroid and symptoms of depression. So let me look here. I've got another quote for you. You guys really just need to get this book, because I can't possibly even read to you everything I have underlined. How does the thyroid affect mental health? First, it helps to understand that thyroid health is so much more than pumping out a hormonal product. It involves a sophisticated conversation between your brain, your thyroid gland, your hormones, and the receiving cells and tissues. In fact, we can't even address thyroid health without looking at the mitochondria, the tiny organelles in your cells that contain their own DNA and are responsible for a laundry list of chores ranging from creating life-sustaining energy to determining the time of a cell's death. Let's see. She goes on to talk about some things that impact our thyroid, in turn our hormones, our endocrine system. Birth control pills, gluten, there again, fluoride, endocrine disruptors. It's just all so interconnected, you guys. And the last, number 7, the 7th thing you may be overlooking when it comes to your mental health are medications for other things. So this one we kind of touched on a little bit because I mentioned birth control, but there are so many medications that you get put on for other issues that in turn lead to so many other issues physically and mentally. Birth control, statins. Okay, my mom is a poster child for the permanent damage done by statins. And we have lowered her cholesterol naturally with essential oils, you guys, lemongrass in a capsule. Acid reflux medications. You guys, I didn't know this till I was reading this book, but if you Google the dangers of acid reflux medications, oh my goodness. Kidney damage, certain type of cancer. I didn't print all those notes out, but so many things. So those are 3 of the worst ones, but so many of our medications actually have ingredients that are so detrimental to our health in other ways. So there you have it. All right, you guys, those are the 7 things that I wanted to cover. I actually got through it in less than 30 minutes. But here's what I want to tell you. There are so many ways to begin to take baby steps to work on these things. And I will even go so far as to say that my journey getting started with essential oils and Young Living helped propel me in the right direction. I got involved in a community that encouraged me to try Whole30, which is how I started losing weight, changing my diet. I used Progessence Plus and an oil blend called Endoflex, which is for your thyroid and endocrine support. Toxins, I have gotten so many toxins out of my house by using Thieves Cleaner, by using essential oils and diffusing instead of all the candles I used to have, switching out my shampoo and my face lotion. Like I said, toxins are one of the easier ones to replace. Sleep, I now use a natural sleep aid from Young Living. Exercise, most of you follow me and know that I have been doing CrossFit for right at a year. A basic, it's not like the full-blown CrossFit, you guys. Hormones, did I already say that? Progestins Plus and Endoflex. And I'm off all my medications. You guys, I am here to tell you, if I can do this, you can do it. I'm not lying. I'm not exaggerating. I had a terribly, terribly unhealthy lifestyle. Now, I don't eat perfectly. I still have queso. I still have stuff. But my lifestyle is night and day from what it used to be. If I can do it, you can do it. Baby steps. Stop drinking the soda. Get up and walk around the block. Put a drop of lemon in your water every day to help detox your body. Find healthy ways to sleep and exercise. Even if you just start off walking, work on your gut health. What can you eliminate from your diet? Just try one thing at a time and do it for a month, or try the whole 30. There are things you can be doing to help yourself feel better and to get healthier. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's one of the hardest things that I've done, but it is so worth it, you guys. It is so worth it. Feeling good. It just feels good to feel good when you haven't for years and years. So I hope that this encourages you. And what I love about this book is it tells me that there are things we can be doing. Okay? There are things we can be doing, you guys. And don't let it overwhelm you. Just think about it in terms of baby steps. If you have any questions, I would love for you to ask. And I'll have to look through the book. If you've been following me on Insta Stories, there's lots of little things we've been chatting about in this book. But I'll have to look and see if there's another topic I want to cover from the book on another video. But for today, that's all I've got, and I appreciate you watching, and I hope this has been helpful for you.